To most of us, a bridge is a bridge is a bridge, or so it might be said. There's a set way of building or repairing a bridge, but it's not necessarily the best way. This is the story about how Van Eck Contracting rebuilt a major 32-span railway bridge over floodplains in the island state of Tasmania's Central Midlands. It's the story about how the project was completed in just one day. It's a story about thinking outside the square. The problem. The customer, Tasrail, Tasmania's only rail operator, wanted this 40-year-old mainline part-timbered bridge replaced. Saturdays provided the only 18-hour window of downtime on the railway operating schedule. Doing the job the conventional way would have meant working over perhaps 7 weekends, multiplying the risk of disrupting services. Engineers tossed the problem around for 18 months.
Really the idea just struck out of the blue driving home one day. I said, well, why can't we do it in one day?
Van Eck Contracting already had used a similar approach to construct stock underpasses on major highways in one day, minimising traffic disruption. The focus turned to planning with military precision.
With any construction work, everything is site-specific and you physically build things on site. With this type of work, you've got to go away from that concept and build the whole thing in your mind. It becomes a put-together assembly line operation rather than a build operation. Everything must be predetermined so it fits together rather than make it fit together on site. That's a huge difference in this type of operation.
So the concept of a one-day construction was on its way. Site manager Frank Jansen's reaction?
Oh, so you've got to be bloody mad, you know.
But then came the realisation that you can plan all the details of building a bridge in your head.
You've got to come up with a lightweight, fast, simple solution.
Yeah, it starts off in your head and then you've got to put it back down onto paper and try to record everything you think of while you're thinking of it. Otherwise, because there's always something you're going to forget, and there always still will be something you forget. But you've got to have a couple of different plans to back up. Like if one thing fails, you've got somebody standing behind you, basically backing you up.
The day before the big job, almost every heavy lift mobile crane on the island is hired. Everyone's exact position is marked out. The bridge decking awaits the morning start. Late afternoon, the last train to use the old bridge rolls through, the weathered timbers showing the strain that modern trains and high loadings bring. For the nearly 50 men facing tomorrow's race against time, a safety briefing from Frank Jansen.
All the team leaders know what they've got to do, so take note of them.
And so the scene is set. A crisp but fine late summer's morning, 5 minutes to 5, and the workers are anxious to make a start. The first job, using just the lights of the cranes, is to remove the old timber decking.
It is always a doubt because when you pull the old bridge down, you don't know what you're going to strike. You don't know whether the tops of the pier are going to be okay. You've got no idea. You can have an accident because there's a lot of machinery going. There's a lot of unknowns, even though you take every step possible to eliminate every unknown. risks are lower in the end, even though they seem ridiculously high when you try and do something that hasn't been done before or impossible, because you work your way through the risks, you eliminate your risks, and by only having one operation, you only have one risk. I get everybody involved because it's not just an effort on my part, it is a company effort, and we're relying heavily right down to the first year apprentice, and he's aware of that. It's a team effort. We do often bite off more than we can chew, but the theory here is if you always bite off more than you chew, and then you chew like hell.
As the morning moves on, and normal folks are only just out of bed now, there's growing optimism that the project is going to succeed.
We're about a good hour ahead of schedule there, I'd say. The other teams are running a little bit ahead. The Team 5 down the far end, just a couple of little problems there, but they've got a lot more work down that end, and of course it's very tricky. They're on schedule now, but I think they'll run a little bit behind, but we're going to have manpower to help them out later.
And the customer, Tasrail, already is getting the feeling that success is in the air.
It was a gamble, but we've put in a lot of groundwork to make sure that our process works. The biggest cost in a job like this is establishment cost. The number of cranes and the number of earth-moving machinery we've got here is significant. So if we can minimise the number of establishments that we make, that is the set-up time, that drives costs out of the job.
Level it out as best you can, and we'll have to just use shovels, I reckon. It's going to be quicker than waiting for this other excavator, I reckon.
What sort of potential savings do you identify through using this process?
Approximately 50% on what it would have cost to have done it in the traditional manner.
That's a pretty massive cut, isn't it?
That's a very massive cut, and it was certainly worthwhile going the extra mile to do just that.
Yeah, 12 months ago I think everyone laughed when it was first suggested, but as it's gone on and the planning's been taken, you know, it's all come together really well. It's by far and away the largest project we've undertaken in a day, and the proof's in the pudding, I guess.
Oh well, it's a challenge. That's what they've been looking forward to.
What's it like to work on a project like this?
Oh, it's good when everything runs sweet, and it's running sweet now, so makes everybody look good.
We give ourselves enough time to do tasks, and the blokes just basically get dewed up that much. You get more out of them in the first half day because they're just keyed up, ready to go, you know, like just dewed up so high. And I think that's why it's gone so well. There's a few of our team leaders there that like to be first with everything, so yeah, let them go and race each other if they like, but so long as they do it safely.
While local television coverage was organised, watching the whole event from the food van was caterer John Bush.
What you noticed more than anything, it was more a teamwork effort than anyone. Everyone knew where they were going, and didn't seem to be a query going. They knew it was planned right from bang, bang, bang. I mean, you can't ask for much more than that.
It looks real good. It's a credit to the blokes that organise it. It's a credit to my whole team. I'm very proud of them, actually. They all enjoy their work, and that's the main thing. You really got to get an enjoyment out of what you're doing, and then anything's possible.